Out of the gates and ready to go. Welcome into this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Happy to have you with us. Got a loaded show ahead here on this edition of the Chiefs Report. We're going to be talking some great news for the Chiefs in regards to Nick Bolton. Also, in the second segment of the show, we will bring you some major changes that the Chiefs will be making ahead of OTAs. We'll also take our first look at the projected starting lineup for the Kansas City Chiefs, what we anticipate they will throw out on the field week one. And then we will do a Q&A Rumors mailbag. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. As you guys file in, shout out your city. We'll shout you out as we get this show off and rolling. We're coming at you from the Chat Sports Studios here in downtown Dallas, Texas on this very fine Tuesday. I got Big Tex here with me. We'll bring him in coming up in just a bit. Let us know where you guys are at. I got Tony saying, Sup Kingdom. He is almost out of El Paso. All right, that's good to hear, Tony. Hopefully you don't get taken away by the cartel. I got Paul in Tonganoxie, Kansas. Good to see you, Paul. Thanks for being here. I got Richard in Wakini, Kansas. I can always count on Richard showing up. Got Gilbert in Tulare, California. Thanks for joining us, Gilbert. Where else you guys checking in on this fine Tuesday from? Let us know in the chat, and we'll chat you out as we get this show going here today, as we got plenty to discuss here on today's program. I want to know, of the new members of the Kansas City Chiefs, whether they were signed or drafted, who is your favorite new member of the Kansas City Chiefs that's joined this roster in 2025? If you had to pick one player, who would it be and why? I got Kendall checking in from Indiana. I got Jeff in Lincoln, Nebraska. Who is your favorite new Chiefs player? You know, that's tough for me to pick one new one. But if I had to go with one, I got to go with my guy Noah Williams, the corner from Cal. I can't wait to see what he does, and I expect him to compete for one of those starting outside corner roles right away. A lot of production, 7 interceptions at Cal last year. I think he's going to be fun to watch right away. That'd be the name I would go with. Who is the name you guys would go with? Paul says Jalen Royals. I got Kendall saying Jalen Royals as well. That seems to be a popular choice. We've talked about him a decent amount on this show. Buddy saying Jalen Royals as well. Give me a name. Give me a name that is your favorite new member of the Kansas City Chiefs. Chime in the chat right now and tell us who that player is that comes to mind. Big Tex is hanging out here with us. He's on the ones and twos, and we'll welcome into the program for the very first time today. Big Tex, I'll be honest, I'm a little surprised as you join us now. We haven't got the workout question from Tony yet. It's usually true. Right before you even hop on screen. I'm sure It's coming, though.
It's got to be coming soon. What's up, Tony?
So maybe you just need to beat Tony to the punch. What do you want to tell Tony maybe for some workout advice before he even asks you?
Great question. Let me see.
We know he doesn't miss leg day.
I had some foam rolling. Myofascial release is the scientific term for it, but get a foam roller. It's like $20-$30 on Amazon. Get a good one with deep grooves. It gets in there. Get in there.
Get in there.
Literally. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was getting at.
You left me hanging. You didn't say yeah.
Yeah.
We'll try again. We'll try that again. Get in there.
Yeah.
There we go.
With the foam roller. Get a foam roller, Tony, and do some myofascial release before and after your workouts, and just when you're feeling tight, and you'll feel great, positive difference in your life.
There you go, Tony. We already got you taken care of before we even got your question in of what that could be. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get the chat going. I already got a lot of people here, but I want to make sure we have the largest audience we can. This will help out the algorithm. That way more people know that we are live, that we're bringing in this show. I'm going to go ahead and start spamming C right now. And let's see who the early favorite is to be the MVP of today's show. And let's have a great time today. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Start spamming C.
Paul, Tony, Andre. There we go. We got some names in there. Let's go. Tony, Stanley, Richard. I see Tony holding down the fort. Paul, Richard. Let's get some new names in there. I see Paul and Tony in there. Richard. Kendall, there's a new one. Paul, Richard, Andre. Paul, Richard, Andre. G Pick. What's up, dude? Richard, Andre, Paul, Andre, Carl, Tony, Richard, Andre, Casey. What's up, Casey? Tony, Richard, Paul, Andre. Says Hawk Tua. Pause. Tony, Richard, Paul, Kendall, Paul, Richard, Paul, Andre, Richard, Carl, Richard, Kendall, Tony. What's up, Tony? Did you take my workout advice? You better do it later.
Better get that roller.
That's right. You better get that foam roller, beast. Paul, Richard, Tony, Richard, Oliver, Garrett, Paul, Tony, Kendall, Richard, Paul, Tony, Richard. A lot of Paul and Richards. Let's get some
10 more
new
seconds.
ones.
Oliver, I think you're at the wrong channel.
Kendall. Might be. Interesting comment there. Kendall, Paul, Carl, G Pick, Paul,
There we
Tony.
go.
Good stuff.
I think I saw Richard, Tony, Paul all in there quite a bit. Appreciate you all for helping us out and getting that chat rate going. Big Tex, you have a favor to ask of the kingdom.
That's right.
How can they help you out with our final segment here in today's show?
Great question. I'm putting it in the chat right now, so bear with me for like 5 seconds. There we go. Oh, wait.
Wait.
Look.
Let
them cook. There we go. I was trying to do Chiefs report by Chat Sports, and I was like, no, I just need hashtag Chiefs. I put it in the chat. If you got a question, use hashtag Chiefs, or you can super chat to get on the show, and you can take priority with your question in the mailbag. So it's really simple. If you can't donate and you can't super chat, that's fine. You still want to get involved in the mailbag, which why wouldn't you? We're doing it for free, and we're answering your guys' questions about the Kansas City Chiefs. You just use hashtag Chiefs together like you see it on screen, and then a space, and then where you see the word or on the graphic right now, you'd insert your question. Or you can flip it the other way around. Put your question first, but you got to put a space after your question, and then hashtag Chiefs together. And if you do that, I'll be able to pull it in the software, and we can answer your questions.
Just like G-Pick.
That's right. Good stuff, G-Pick.
G-Pick, sorry, I got a question. And be like G-Pick, start submitting your questions.
And Paul.
And Paul. You can submit as many questions as you guys want, and we'll pick out the best, the very best for the mailbag. So, Tony, I know you want to be in the mailbag, but I need a good question from you. Not a comment. Give me a good question that would be bringing you coming up in our final segment here in today's program. We're at 9 likes right now. You know what? I feel nice today. I'm feeling nicey. Let's get to 20. I need 11 more, and then we can start today's show and get this thing going here. Hit that like button, and we'll react to it. Tony, I see what you put in. That's not a question. You just said that you hope the Chiefs cut Sky Moore. How about you try again and ask me, will the Chiefs cut Sky Moore? Try again, Tony. It's got to be a question for the mailbag, not a comment. I need questions. Hit that like button, and once we get to 20, we'll start today's show. We're 12 likes right now. Type me in the chat when you like the video as well. Paul's liked it. Tony's liked it. Appreciate you all doing that. Who else? 12 likes right now. Need to get to 20, and then we'll start today's program. Need you guys to hit that like button, then we'll get this thing officially started and get this thing moving for what we have today. Paul, thanks for that. Richard as well. Thanks for hitting that like button. Kendall, that's a good question. You put a period next to Chiefs, though. You might have to redo that with just hashtag Chiefs. Yeah, Kendall just submitted one, but he put a period at the end. Oh, it worked. Never mind. Yep, it pulled. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Richard, Kendall, you are in. You're in the mailbag. 15 likes. Need 5 more, and then we'll get this show started. Our first segment coming up in just a bit. We'll go over some news and rumors. We'll be talking about Nick Bolton. Second segment of today's show, we'll talk some major changes ahead for the Chiefs. And then third segment, we'll go over the projected starting lineup, and then we'll wrap up things with a Q&A mailbag. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. 4 more likes away from getting this thing started. Hit that like button. Type me in the chat when you hit the like button, and we'll shout you out for doing so. Our poll question today is Nick Bolton, the best middle linebacker in the NFL. 78% of you so far are saying yes, that he is. 22% saying no. at this point. Continue to get those votes in. We got about 66 votes so far on our poll question there. 3 more likes away from getting started, and then we will get rolling here on this Tuesday afternoon, this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. We do this live show each and every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Central Time. And we have our regulars, like I see Tony and Paul and among others that are always here with us every week. But if you haven't already, make this appointment viewing to be here each and every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Central Time for our live Chiefs Report shows that we bring you. Jeff and Dwayne like the video as well. That puts us at 19. One more. There we go. We're at 21 now. Now we can get started, and I can open up a drink as well, and we can get going here. All right, Super Chat menu. Cheers. If you'd like to get some screen time today and get some priority for our mailbag segment, you can do so by Super Chatting us. First time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5 will give you a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, get being boozled. $50, we will do a beer bong. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute and support the work we're doing here on today's show. That's how you can do so, and we would love to hear from you guys there. Coming up on the Chiefs Report today, news and rumors. We're talking Nick Bolton. Also some major changes this season, and they involve Travis Kelce. We'll explain that coming up in segment 2. We'll also take a look at the projected starting lineup for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then in our final segment, we'll answer your questions with our mailbag. Use hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on the mailbag portion of today's show. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get this show started, this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. There we go, Tony. You got it right. You got it right. He got the question this time after I corrected him. He just said a statement earlier, and then he came back, and now he's asking. I wonder, Tyler, will the Chiefs finally cut Sky Moore? There we go, Tony. That will work. You are in now, Tony. You are in. I see Buck and Bob in the house. Good to see you guys. Appreciate you all being here. We're going to talk about Nick Bolton here in just a moment. Let's go ahead and get started. Segment number 1 on this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report begins right now. We have some great news to get to on your Kansas City Chiefs involving this guy right here, Nick Bolton. We will explain everything you need to know on the Chiefs linebacker coming up on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for joining us. Before we go any further in today's program, folks, we have just a few more days left in the month of May. It's flying by. My birthday is going to be here pretty soon. If you can guess my age in the chat, more power to you. But what we've been doing all month long here on the channel is a sub-battle between the Chiefs Report and Bill's Breakdown. The guys over at Bill's Breakdown, they wanted to do a rematch of the AFC Championship game. And I said there's no way that the Chiefs Kingdom is going to let me down and lose to the Bills twice in a 6-month stretch. So, folks, do your part. If you haven't already, subscribe to the Kansas City Chiefs Report live shows each and every Tuesday, daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. We're also bringing you breaking news, Q&A mailbags, and more right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Let's win this sub-battle. We'll get started with today's show. We are talking all things Nick Bolton today as we get a chance to revisit the new contract that Nick Bolton signed. And what appears to be very clear is that Nick Bolton gave a hometown discount to the Kansas City Chiefs, that he could have made more money if he would have signed elsewhere. Or there's the flip side of things. He could have demanded more money from Kansas City based on the way other linebackers ended up getting paid with some of the numbers that we have seen over the last few weeks. We will compare those new numbers that we have for you here in just a moment. Let's start with looking at the bolts of Bolton's contract. See what I did there? He signed a 3-year deal with a total value of $45 million. 30 of it is fully guaranteed. and it gives him about an average annual salary of $15 million. Now, I said at the time here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report that I thought it was a good deal for the Chiefs when he signed originally. But based on what we know now of the way others have been paid, it looks even better. In fact, much better for the Kansas City Chiefs of the deal that they were able to get done with Nick Bolton for a player of his caliber, especially when you compare it to these other deals that have occurred within the last several weeks. Let's go ahead and kind of show you what we're talking about here of what these other linebackers ended up getting paid here in free agency. Zach Bond of the Philadelphia Eagles, who I think is right up there with Nick Bolton. I think that Nick Bolton's probably a better player than Zach Bond. He got a 3-year, $51 million deal at $17 million per year, so he got more money than what Nick Bolton did. Jamin Sherwood of the New York Jets, he ended up with a 3-year, $45 million deal at about $15 per year. He's a good player, but he's not as good as Nick Bolton, and he got the same amount of money. How about Robert Spillane, former Las Vegas Raider, now with the New England Patriots? I thought they overpaid for him. He got a 3-year, $33 million deal with $11 million per year. Ernest Jones, who's now on his third team, the Seattle Seahawks, they got him on a 3-year, $28.5 million deal at $9.5 million per year. And then this was the one that just didn't make any sense at all, that just escalated the market. And timing is everything, right? If this deal would have gone down when the negotiations were going on with Nick Bolton, it may not have been good for the Chiefs, as Andrew Van Ginkel signed a 1-year, $23 million deal, fully guaranteed with the Minnesota Vikings here within the last couple of weeks. Bolton is just as good as all those guys, if not better. And you're looking at an $8 million difference between him and Van Ginkel. Are you kidding me? $8 million. And to think, too, Brett Veach did not have a lot to work with this offseason when it came to limited funding, as the Chiefs did not have much salary cap space. Their first priority was to take care of Trey Smith first, which they did with the franchise tag. So not only did you get Nick Bolton to take a discount less than what he was actually worth, but you also kept Trey Smith in the process. Your two biggest priorities, the players you needed to re-sign, Brett Veach did a phenomenal job. And this is great news for the Kansas City Chiefs, looking back how this all played out. How would you grade the new contract for Nick Bolton? Knowing what we know now, give me a grade in the comments section. A, B, C, D, or F. It's our pinned comment today. You might get an ad break while the ad's playing. Get your votes in and let us know what you think. My grade, I'm going with an A+. I thought it was an A at the time, but now seeing what guys like Van Ginkel got, that worked out beautifully for the Kansas City Chiefs. I got to go with an A+. And I remember talking to Peter Schrager, who's now with ESPN. He was at Fox Sports at the time at the Super Bowl. And he was saying that for him, it was going to be hard to imagine the Kansas City Chiefs moving on from Nick Bolton because of how much he means to this squad, that he is the heart of this defense. And I think Brett Veach and company realized that, and that was a big reason why they found a way to get a deal done. Nick Bolton has now been a part of 2 Super Bowl championship squads since he was drafted in 2021 out of Mizzou. He has been the Chiefs' leading tackler for 3 of his 4 seasons that he's played with the Kansas City Chiefs. He has been extremely productive and consistent in that stretch, and the numbers back that up. Here's what we're talking about, folks. In 2021, 112 tackles, 11 TFLs, 3 pass breakups. 2022, probably his best season, when he had 180 tackles with 9 TFLs, 3 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. He was banged up a little bit in 2023, but he was still productive in that stretch with 60 tackles, 1 TFL, 3 pass breakups, and 1 interception. And then last year, had a nice bounce-back season with 106 tackles, 11 TFLs, 6 pass breakups, 1 interception, and 1 forced fumble. he is a tackling machine. All right? You see the numbers. I mean, granted, being the leading tackler on a team or the NFL is not the best statistic by any stretch of the imagination, but it's still a valuable statistic. And he's shown that he can get the job in that sense. There's still work for him to do to improve, to become the full player that he could potentially become. I think his coverage in particular needs some work, that he needs to take that next step up when it comes to his skills as a coverage linebacker. And that's part of the reason why they drafted Jeffrey Bassa out of Oregon, is that he can kind of help out in that sense. But this is what we mean of what Nick Bolton has to do when it comes to his coverage stats. It's very important in this league, especially with how much teams are passing the football, that you got to have guys that can cover us in that linebacker room, and that's something that he's had his struggles with. Allowed a quarterback rating of 104.7, 6 pass breakups, and 1 interception. Gave up 2 touchdowns, 37 completions out of 46 attempts, 360 yards. There's some big work to do, but Nick Bolton, it's never going to be a lack of effort. He's going to continue to improve, and I think that you'll see him take steps in the right direction on that. Now, with Nick Bolton locked up and on this deal that pays him $15 per, is he the best linebacker in the NFL? Here's your chance to sound off in the comment section. Let us know. Type Y for yes, in for no. How good is Nick Bolton? Chime in the comment section below. Got a great deal for Chiefs fans right now. Rookie jerseys are on sale at chatsports.com/Chiefs jerseys. Josh Simmons, among others of the Chiefs rookie class, you can get their jersey with their number on it, all in one place at chatsports.com/Chiefs jerseys. And maybe you're not feeling one of these rookies. Maybe you need still a Mahomes jersey or a Nick Bolton or Travis Kelce, whatever it may be. We got all those jerseys available for you at chatsports.com/Chiefs jerseys. The link is in the comments and the description of today's video. Got men's and women's options, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Go see for yourself now at chatsports.com/Chiefs jerseys to get yours today. The thing that I like about Nick Bolton that we've seen year over year, he's still improving. He's still coming into his own, still a young guy, and I think he hasn't even reached his full potential yet. He has not peaked. He is not even in his prime years yet, although those years are coming. And I remember last year, Nick Bolton was talking going into the season that his big area of focus that he was working on was on turnovers, that he wanted to get more turnovers himself, and he wanted the defense as a whole to create more turnovers. And we saw both of those things happen. What is Nick Bolton focused on this year? Well, he did an interview with KMBC, the ABC station in Kansas City, this week, and he said the following. We just want to figure out where we're going and stuff like that, but obviously my main focus is trying to get 1% better every single day. We've got a lot of time, which is a positive thing for us. We've got a lot of time to figure out things that make us a little bit better as athletes, as a team. And another thing Bolton talked about, one of his personal goals for this upcoming season, he wants to lead the NFL in tackles. And I think, although I mentioned earlier, that's not the greatest accomplishment that he could potentially do, it's still notable and noteworthy if he can potentially do that. And what's interesting, too, even that year he had 180 tackles. This is something that he has not done in his career just yet. But if he stays healthy, he's going to have the opportunity to potentially make that happen, and this should be the year that he does so. For Nick Bolton, I think it's real simple. The best is yet to come. He's just getting started. I'm excited to have him here, and I think he's going to do great things for many years to come. For continuing coverage on your Kansas City Chiefs, subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, youtube.com/Chiefs TV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. All right. So there you have it. Our first segment in the books. We will get to our second segment here in just a moment. We'll talk about some major changes for the Chiefs in 2025. But we want to know first, is Nick Bolton the best linebacker in the NFL? Type Y for yes, in for no. I got Buck and Bob saying Bolton is top 5 in my opinion, but I have a hard time saying he's number 1. Tony says yes. Stanley says he is a crew runner, a smart leader. What do you guys think? Is Nick Bolton the best in the NFL? Y for yes, in for no. Chime in that comment section and let us know what you think. Paul says yes, that he is. 72% of you saying yes. Our first super chat of the day, our guys at the Buck and Bob Take On Chiefs Kingdom podcast. I was on their show not too long ago. They do a great job talking about the Kansas City Chiefs. Encourage you to go check out that show if you haven't already. Sending in a $2 super chat, just saying, giving some support. Thank you for that, Buck and Bob. Appreciate you guys. Go check out their show. They do some great work, and we thank them for sending us that super chat there. If you want to be like Buck and Bob and send in a super chat, you can do so. $sign next to the chat box if you'd like to contribute. First-time super chatters get the KC chant. $5, give you a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, get bean boozled. $50, we will do a beer bong. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to take part there. All right, up next, let's talk about some major changes ahead for the Kansas City Chiefs. And then we'll go over the projected starting lineup for 2025. And then we will do a Q&A rumors mailbag to wrap up today's show. Get your questions in now using hashtag Chiefs or super chatting to get on that portion of the show. Without further ado, let's talk major changes, our second segment, as we roll along here in this live edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Let me take one more drink of water, then I'll be good to go. All right, second segment begins right now. Here we go. Major changes on the way for your Kansas City Chiefs as OTAs are just around the corner, and things are going to look very different for the Kansas City Chiefs in a number of ways in 2025. We'll explain what those are coming up on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. I am Tyler Jones, your fearless leader, here with you. Thanks for joining us. We have new people joining us here at the Chiefs Report all the time here, folks. As we passed up 72,000 subscribers recently, we got new people watching the show each and every day. And here's what I need to know. I need a little survey of the audience to find out where you guys are at. If you're a Chiefs fan from the state of Missouri, go ahead and like today's video. And if you're not, if you're somebody that's part of the Chiefs Kingdom elsewhere, whether it be in Kansas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Iowa, maybe it's somewhere else in this country, around this great planet of ours, comment and tell me where you're from. I was just in Wichita a couple of days ago, and I ran into a diehard Chiefs fan that watches this show just at a local brewery. I think it was River City Brewery in downtown Wichita, and it's awesome just to see how big the Chiefs Kingdom is and how much you guys have gotten involved and interacted with this show over the years. Let me know where you're watching from. We'll get started with today's show. Number one on our major changes for the Chiefs. Let's start with Travis Kelce. First and foremost, Travis Kelce, I think, is still a very good football player. Is he the best tight end in the NFL still? No, but he still has plenty to offer, and it is still a good thing that he is back with the Kansas City Chiefs for what likely will be his final season here in Kansas City. But what's going to change is he is no longer going to be the focal point of the passing game. What we've seen in recent years is that the passing offense, really since the departure of Tyreek Hill, became all about Travis Kelce, that he was option A, and the Chiefs were looking to get the ball, whatever it takes, to Travis Kelce as that premier option. And now that has changed. Travis Kelce is still one of the top options, but he is not the go-to target. And that's actually a good thing for the Kansas City Chiefs, that they have this positional flexibility now to open things up in the passing game with multiple targets. You look at the top receivers for the Kansas City Chiefs. Xavier Worthy, coming off of a very strong rookie campaign and looked really good in the second half of the season. You have to think his role will increase. Rashee Rice is back. He's healthy and ready to go. He only played in 4 games last year, but he was looking like a top 10 receiver prior to that injury. Hollywood Brown, we didn't see a whole lot of him last year. Got to think that his role is going to increase, and we didn't really see them stretch the field, take advantage of Hollywood's speed last year. I think that will change. Juju is still here. Don't know exactly what Juju is going to do. Maybe just more so kind of fill in if there's an injury or something, but he's still around. Jalen Royals, a lot of excitement about him coming over in the 4th round from Utah State. Can't wait to see what he could potentially do and how creative Andy gets in the passing game with him. Nico is there. And then you got your 2 tight ends, Travis Kelce and Noah Gray. This is the best receiving core that Patrick Mahomes has had in a minute, and it doesn't have to be all about Travis Kelce. I like Travis Kelce. I look at the statistics, and it's no secret. The numbers have gone down year after year. You can see that last year was the lowest yardage and yards per reception total he's had since his rookie season at 823 yards, 8.5 yards of reception, was only in the end zone 3 times. Travis Kelce can still be a valuable piece, but you can't run the offense through him anymore, and that's okay. And I think this Chiefs team is going to be just fine in that sense. We have 2 other major changes to talk about when it comes to the Chiefs, but there are a lot of naysayers out there that are writing off Travis Kelce, saying he's washed, saying he's cooked. Do you still believe in Travis Kelce? It's our pinned comment today. Tell me what you think. Type B for believe, D for don't. Weigh in. Let me know if you still believe in Travis or not. Today's show is sponsored by our friends at Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. You choose 2 more players in any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball's championship series. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes 2 ticket sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1 a VIP trip to the ship. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. I'm already looking ahead to the start of the football season. I got Patrick Mahomes to have more than 3,924.5 passing yards. With all those weapons he can throw the football to besides Travis Kelce. Also go with Sam Darnold of the Seahawks to have more than 3,474.5 passing yards. If I put $20 down, both those hit, that turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Check them out, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. Let's talk Trent McDuffie now, the Chiefs corner, who has been fantastic. The Chiefs already picked up his 5th-year option, and the expectation is that he is moving back to the nickelback position. And while some may say, is this a demotion? Why would you want to play your all-pro corner at the nickel spot and not take on the best of the best when it comes to these opposing receivers that they face each and every week? Well, for the Chiefs, this is a smart move because Trent McDuffie was playing his best football when he was at the nickel spot. He did really good last year at the corner spot. For the first time in his career, he picked up an interception. In fact, had 2 of them in back-to-back weeks. But he went from a first-team All-Pro back-to-back years to a second-team All-Pro playing the outside corner spot. And you have the other pieces at outside corner now with Jalen Watson, Noel Williams, Christian Fulton, where you don't need McDuffie to play the outside corner spot. This is about maximizing his talent level and getting the most out of him. And I think that McDuffie is more comfortable playing that nickelback position. You look at these statistics, Trent McDuffie has been among the best of the best. One of the top corners in all of the National Football League. Last year, played in 16 games with 59 tackles, 6 TFLs, 13 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, and 1 forced fumble. The year prior to that, 80 tackles, 3 TFLs, 7 pass breakups. And as much as people read into that he wasn't getting the interceptions, well, he was doing that good of a job as a lockdown corner that passers weren't throwing his direction. And last year, even when he was taking on some of the best, he did an incredible job with a completion percentage allowed of 57.7. Only gave up 443 yards. and 3 touchdowns, along with those pass breakups and the QB rating in 81.3. But you look at the corners there, and, I mean, there's a number of guys that are going to be competing for that outside corner spot. We mentioned Fulton and Watson. Noel Williams, I'm very high on. He had 7 interceptions at Cal last year. Connor is back. There's some talk that he could potentially play safety. You got some flexibility here. And I think that Trent McDuffie is going to be at his best playing the nickelback spot, and that they're going to be in really good shape. And this will be the best corner room we've seen in Kansas City in quite some time. Do you agree with me? Trent McDuffie goes back to the nickelback spot. Should he play that position? Type Y for yes, in for no. Tell us in the comments section which way you're leaning towards. For the best Chiefs content around, you got to be subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report. We have over 72,000 subs on the channel, but we're not slowing down there, folks, as we're going to continue to bring you our daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. We're going to have our watch parties throughout the season. We're also bringing you live shows each and every Tuesday, Q&A mailbags, breaking news, your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Lock us in. Don't miss out. Let's get at least 20 new subs off today's video. Hit that sub button, and you will be glad you did. Last on our list of major changes. This one you kind of knew was coming. Jaden Hicks, who had a fantastic rookie campaign in 2024. I think he is going to see an increased role in this Chiefs defense in 2025 with the departure of Justin Reed. I think Hicks is really good. There's a reason why he led this team in interceptions as a rookie in 2024. And no knock on Justin Reed. I think Justin Reed's a fine football player, but I think that Jaden Hicks is already better than what Justin Reed is. I'm not expecting, even though you wanted to bring back Justin Reed and you lost him, I don't think there's going to be any fall off at all. In fact, I think there's going to be improvement handing things over to Jaden Hicks at this position. Jaden Hicks, as a rookie last year, played in all 17 games with 1 start, led the team in interceptions, as we mentioned. The former 4th-round pick out of Washington State was really good for the Chiefs, and this guy is just getting started. You take a closer look at his numbers last year, not only the 3 interceptions, but also had 5 pass breakups, 3 TFLs, and 29 tackles. And then his coverage stats were fantastic last year, as he only allowed a completion percentage of 60% with 144 yards, just 1 touchdown given up, and a QB rating of less than 60 at 59.2. So that's my list of major changes for the Kansas City Chiefs as we get ready for OTAs. What major change would you like to see the Chiefs make next? What comes to mind? Maybe it's a new player that comes to town. Maybe it's a position or a role of some sorts. What major change would you like to see the Chiefs make? Chime in the comments section and tell me what you think that is. If you enjoyed today's show, you already know what to do. Hit that like button. We certainly would appreciate it. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you next time right here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. There we go. Halfway home now. We'll go over our projected starting lineup in just a bit. But let's ask you, what major change would you like to see the Chiefs make? If you had to narrow it down to one thing, what would it be? The major change that comes to mind, tell us in the chat what that exactly is, and we'd love to hear from you there. Super chat menu, as we got our mailbag coming up in just a little while from right now. If you want priority in the mailbag segment, here's how you can do so. $ next to the chat box. First-time super chatters get the KC chant. $5, we'll do a beer cheers. $10, take some shots. $20, get bean boozled. $50, we'll do a beer bong. $ next to the chat box if you would like to contribute. Tony says the change he'd like to see made is release Sky Moore. I think a lot of people would like to see that. Why me agrees with you. Kendall wants to see more of the deep passing game. I think that's something Patrick Mahomes has talked about, that he wants to see more of. And I think we should see more of that this year as well. Okay. Yeah. Up next, we will reveal the starting lineup for the Kansas City Chiefs, how we think that will look for them in 2025. And then we will also do a Q&A rumors mailbag as well. Get your questions in now using hashtag Chiefs or super chatting to get on the mailbag portion of the show. Okay, cool. Cool. Up next, Chiefs starting lineup revealed. We will go over the starters on offense, defense, and special teams, what we think those will look like for the Chiefs. And then we will do a mailbag to wrap up the show. So get those questions in now. Why me, says Tyler. I did mine. Thank you, Why me. Thanks for getting your questions in. Much appreciated. All right. Let's get started. Segment 3, starting lineup. Let's get to that, and then we'll get to our mailbag to follow after that. Here we go. Let's continue here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report starting right now. You're watching the Kansas City Chiefs Report, powered by Chat Sports. I am your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. Thanks for stopping by. On today's show, we are going to take a look ahead all the way to Week 1 of the 2025 NFL season when your Kansas City Chiefs head to Brazil to take on the Los Angeles Chargers. What do we think the starting lineup will look like for the Kansas City Chiefs when they open the season? We will go over that for you coming up in just a matter of moments. Before we do, folks, Broncos breakdown. The Donkeys. They have a new host over there. His name is Moose. He's a little bit of an odd guy. I wouldn't recommend watching his TikTok. He said that the Chiefs Report could not get 1,000 comments on today's video. He was talking some smack. And as your fearless leader, that is just something I will not allow around here. So if you want to stick it to Moose, I need you to spam KC in the comment section. Let's get at least 1,000 comments. Maybe you want to put F the Donkeys, F Moose in the chat as well. Talk your shit, as the kids would say. Spam KC in the comment section, and we'll get started with today's show. So here's what we're going to do, folks. We are going to go through each part of the Chiefs lineup, from offense to defense to special teams. And we'll break it down piece by piece of what we think those starters are going to be. For the record, this is unofficial. This is not official. This is a projection. Without further ado, here we go. Patrick Mahomes will be starting Week 1. God forbid something happening to Patrick Mahomes. He will be your Week 1 starter for the Kansas City Chiefs at the quarterback position. The starting running back should be Isaiah Pacheco. And things could get interesting with Brashard Smith to see how well he plays in camp. But all signs point to that Isaiah Pacheco should get healthy, should be 100% when the season begins, and hopefully we see him back to his old self. Xavier Worthy, coming off a fantastic rookie season, was really good in the second half of the year. He was named the Chiefs Team Rookie of the Year this past year, and now he plays a critical role in this Chiefs offense, not just as a receiver, but also his ability to run the football as well. Xavier Worthy, I think, is going to have a strong 2025 campaign. Then, another name for you. Rashee Rice is back into the fold. We expect him to start Week 1, unless there's a suspension that potentially happens. But Rashee Rice, he sounds like he's ready to go. That despite the injury that he suffered there in Week 4 against the Chargers, that he's back and back with vengeance. And I think he's going to look like one of the top 10 receivers in football if he picks up from where he left off prior to that injury. But he says he's fully healthy and in good shape. I think there's some pressure on Pacheco for a number of reasons. Number one, there was rumblings last year that he kind of fell out of grace with Andy Reid. And then can he look like his former self? Can he put that all together again, especially when you got young guys that are hungry behind you like Brashard Smith? I hope that Pacheco has this figured out. The offensive line should be improved too, so that should help Pacheco in that sense. The other offensive starters, there's a few more for you. Travis Kelce is back for what could be his final season in Kansas City. The Chiefs will start 2 tight ends, more than likely with Noah Gray next to him as well. Noah Gray had a breakout season in 2024 with career highs in catches and receiving yards and touchdowns. I think that both those guys are going to be really good. And then I think your starting left tackle is going to be Jalen Moore. You signed him from the San Francisco 49ers. He started 5 games last year, filling in for Trent Williams. And I think that they lean towards going with the veteran, but that doesn't mean that Josh Simmons isn't going to start. I think they begin him at the left guard spot. And with Josh Simmons there, you wonder, with him starting at left guard here, is this kind of a temporary thing? Because I think there's a pretty decent chance that Jawan Taylor is gone after next year, and maybe you move Simmons to the right tackle spot down the line. He's going to be competing with Kingsley for that spot, Wanya Morris, among others, all trying to make their name known to be the starting left guard here. But if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, I think your objective is, hey, we just want to put the best 5 out there to give us the best chance to win. Moore and Simmons together should be a good combo. There is a bit of a great unknown here with the left side of this offensive line. New faces and new places. What's Jalen Moore going to do as a full-time starter? How quickly can Josh Simmons get fully healthy? And also learning a new position at the guard spot remains to be seen, but I think he'll do a good job. Who should start at left guard week 1? Should it be Josh Simmons or should it be Kingsley or somebody else? It's our pinned comment today. Let us know what you think. Type JS for Josh Simmons. Type KS for Kingsley. Tell us in the comments section which one should start at that position. Rounding out the rest of the offense, the best center in football, Creed Humphrey, returns for another season. He got that extension before last year began. Trey Smith playing on the franchise tag. Excited to see Trey Smith make his return, and he's turned into one of the best offensive guards in the entire league. And then there's Jawan Taylor. And with Jawan Taylor, it's so frustrating because if he didn't have this penalty problem, he would be one of the better offensive tackles in football. But instead, he's here with one of the worst contracts on this entire team. Taylor needs to figure it out. He needs to either shit or get off the pot. And barring some miracle from Jawan Taylor, this will be the last hoorah from him. He will be replaced after this season. Let's go to the defense now. George Karlaftis is back. Kind of started slow in 2024, but he had a strong finish to the year. Chris Jones also returning, although I think with Chris Jones getting older, with drafting no more Orman Lott, you'll see a little bit less of Chris Jones as they'll limit his snap count a bit and try to get some others involved to make sure Chris Jones stays healthy and plays in the most important games when things matter. Mike Pennell Jr. also back into the fold. I like Mike Pennell a lot. I think he's a fine football player, and he's been a good running mate for Chris Jones there and inside. And then Mike Dana also in the starting lineup for Kansas City. And you got some depth pieces behind those guys. I'd like to see more from King Felix. I hope that Ashton Gelati can figure things out, although his sack numbers were down his final season at Louisville, but his pressure numbers were high. The D-line's got some dogs. And everybody looks back to that Super Bowl of what the Philadelphia Eagles did, right? And I think what we're trying to see is teams recreate what Philadelphia did on their defensive line. And I think Kansas City is headed in the right direction when it comes to the pieces that they have there. How would you grade the Chiefs starting lineup of what we anticipate week 1? A, B, C, D, or F? Chime in the comments section. Tell us what your grade would be for the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs Report is the best place for all your latest Kansas City Chiefs news and rumors. We're doing weekly live shows on Tuesdays. We're bringing you Q&A mailbags, breaking news, and more. Best part about it, doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Don't miss out. Stay up to date. If anything happens, we bring you a video as quick as we can. Whether we're in studio, on the road, doesn't matter. We got you covered each and every day. Here are the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Subscribe now, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. Drew Tranquill returns. I think he's one of the more underrated linebackers in all of football, and he's done a really good job on a relatively cheap contract. Speaking of contracts, Nick Bolton's got a new deal that pays him about $15 million a year. He's talked about that he's looking to improve 1% each and every day. His kind of big overarching goal, he wants to lead the league in tackles this year. Watch out for Nick Bolton there. And then here's some changes that we're seeing in the lineup. Jalen Watson, he is fully healthy after making his return at the end of last year. He should be your starting left cornerback. There is some rumblings that he could get traded, but at least for now, he's there. And Christian Fulton will start opposite of him at the right cornerback spot. Now, I have not forgotten about Trent McDuffie. We'll talk about him in just a bit. But there's an interesting battle going on in the outside corner spot. You got depth at the position that you didn't have last year. When Jalen Watson went down, that group really got exposed. And so with that said, now you bring in Fulton. You also have Noah Williams, who you drafted out of Cal here. I think that you're in a really good spot. You're much better at that corner position than you were a year ago. One could argue it's the most improved position on this entire roster. Then we go to Trent McDuffie. McDuffie moves back to his natural position of the nickel corner spot. That makes much more sense for Trent McDuffie. He was better there at the nickel spot when he played there previously before he moved to outside corner. Then a new starter at strong safety, Jaden Hicks, takes over for Justin Reid. I am very high on Jaden Hicks. Led the team in interceptions this past year. I think he'll be even better than what Justin Reid was. And then Brian Cook is back. He will be your starting free safety this season, and I think he's a good value player. I like McDuffie at the nickelback spot. That's what makes sense for the Kansas City Chiefs to maximize his talent level and his capabilities. I think that he'll do a really good job there. Who is your favorite Chiefs player? No wrong answers here. Could be Patrick Mahomes. Could be Trent McDuffie. Could be somebody else for all I care. Tell me who your favorite Chiefs player is. Chat in that comment section. Tell us who that is. Chiefs rookie jerseys are on sale now. Chatsports.com/Chiefs jerseys is where you can get yours today. You've got the Josh Simmons jersey with his correct number on it, along with other rookie jerseys available for you. And maybe you don't want one of those. Maybe you want a Mahomes or Kelce or Chris Jones or McDuffie jersey. We also have those on sale at chatsports.com/Chiefs jerseys. Get yours now. Men's and women's options, all sorts of different shapes and sizes. Father's Day coming up around the corner. Get your jerseys now. Take care of Dad. Chatsports.com/Chiefs jerseys. Rounding out with the final group, the special teams. Last and least, Harrison Butker, the most accurate kicker in football. He makes his return. Let's see if he makes any comments this offseason. Matt Ariza is also back. The punt god is in the lineup, and I love Matt Ariza. That guy's got quite the leg on him. Pause. Then you got James Winchester, the highest paid long snapper in the NFL. I think James Winchester is, even for a long snapper, a very good football player. And then your return specialist, you got Nico and then Brashard Smith. Both those guys will be involved in the kick and punt return duties. And I think when you look at special teams, this is a really good group for Kansas City all the way around. The number one thing you ask of special teams, don't get in the way. And this group is an asset. They don't hinder this team, which is what you're looking for, what you want. Thanks for watching today's show. If you made it to the end of the video, that means you are a real one, a real Chiefs fan. Spam real one in the comments section. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time here on the Chiefs Report. All right. So, how would you grade the Chiefs starting lineup? A, B, C, D, or F? Dakota, sorry to hear about your dad, man. He said his dad passed away. I'm sorry to hear that, man. I can relate. My grandmother passed a couple weeks ago. I'm thinking of you, man. All the best to you. All the best to you. Do you want to leave me with the Super Chat menu when you check on that? Oh, you got it. Thank you. Good stuff. Grade the starting lineup. A, B, C, D, or F. Tony says A+. Why me says A. Get your grades in. Let us know in the chat. How are we doing on mailbag questions, by the way? We could use some questions always. The more, the merrier. Paul, I'm sorry to hear about your dad, too. My condolences, man. Thinking of you, Paul. The Super Chat menu, if you guys would like to get on today's show, here's how you can do so. First time Super Chatters get the KC chant. $5 will do a beer cheers. $10 take some shots. $20 get bean boozled. $50 will do a beer bong. $sign next to the chat box if you would like to contribute. Super Chat questions will get priority for the mailbag segment. So make sure and get all those questions to us. And I'm going to put about 2 minutes on the clock. And let's see if we can get about 2 or 3 more questions As Tony says, let's not make my guy Tyler Jones and text wait now. Come on, hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Tony, you're doing my work for me. You're doing my job. I thank you for that. Text thanks you for that. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Let's get about 2 or 3 more questions at least. And then we'll get going with the mailbag for our final segment. Hashtag Chiefs Super Chat, and I will answer your questions as we wrap up with our final segment today. And I will have continuing coverage. We're gonna take off for the weekend, a little extended weekend, Memorial Day, as we're all off on Monday. I'm headed to, what did you say? Oh, sweet. I'm headed to Chicago this weekend, but we'll still have coverage on the channel throughout the next few days. Big Tech says we're good to go on questions. Sweet. That's great. Good work, everybody. Not making me wait around. Thank you. Thank you for that. Making my life, and more importantly, Big Tech's life, a lot easier by getting those questions in. Let's answer them now. It is our mailbag segment. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat to get on a mailbag portion of today's show. I'll take a drink of water, then we'll be good. All right. So, and then Kendall just sent a question too. Sweet. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Our final segment, mailbag time. Hashtag Chiefs or Super Chat. Yes. Just pull up like 2 questions. Yeah. Yeah, just pull up like the first 2 questions that you have. So, cool. All right, without further ado, let's get started. Mailbag time right here. The Kansas City Chiefs Report begins right now. It is time to touch our bags and drop our sacks on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. It is I, your fearless leader, Tyler Jones, here with you. You got questions. I got answers. A lot of questions this week in regards to free agency. I already took a sneak peek, and you guys are wondering about Amari Cooper, Justin Simmons, just to name a few. We'll go over all of those and more coming up in just a moment. Let's start with this question from Tony. Tony, you made the mailbag. You're leading off today's show. All right, Tony? You happy? You better be. I wonder, Tyler, when will the Chiefs finally cut Sky Moore at last? Would it be roster cutdown day or before? So, with the way that they changed the roster cutdowns a few years ago, you don't have to eliminate them piece by piece in training camp and in the preseason. Now you just have one giant roster cutdown, basically from 90 to 53, which isn't great for us content-wise. I wish that they did the week-by-week thing, because then we could cover roster cutdowns each and every week. But it makes sense from the NFL's standpoint. With that said, Sky Moore, he will not make the 53-man roster. He is long gone, and I think that we will have to wait till we finally get to the roster cutdown day at the end of training camp after the preseason, and then we can all wave goodbye to Sky Moore. Brett Veach is fantastic. He's a great GM, but Sky Moore was one of the biggest misses he had in quite some time. Kendall writes in, do you think Patrick Mahomes will be better protected this year? Well, you always got to have protection, right? And Patrick Mahomes, you look at the offensive line situation. Let's start before we talk about the left tackle position. I think it's important to mention you lost Joe Thuney, okay? So then that should be step one. Before figuring out, okay, what's going on with the left tackle spot? What do you do about replacing Joe Thuney? Well, you have a number of options. And I think that Kingsley can't be any worse than what he was last year at the left tackle spot. Maybe he can play left guard. You drafted Josh Simmons in the first round of Ohio State. And you also signed Jalen Moore from the San Francisco 49ers. And Moore has experience playing guard. I think, if I were to guess, that Simmons and Moore are going to be on your starting O-line, with one of them playing guard and one of them playing tackle. And although it was a big loss, losing an All-Pro in Joe Thuney, who's a future Hall of Famer, might I add you, I think that with what you had at left tackle and then what you had in Joe Thuney, you are going to be better off when you combine those two together with what you're going to combine now with Moore and Simmons. So, yes, Patrick Mahomes should be better protected in 2025. Folks, want to make sure not only you're subscribed, but you're also part of what we call the Noti Gang here on the Chiefs Report. Those are the people that have their notifications turned on. They're the first to know when we have new content, whether it's breaking news or a new news and rumors video. Maybe it's a live show. It's not enough to be subscribed. You got to have your notifications turned on. Stay up to date with everything happening on your Kansas City Chiefs. Be the first to know when we have new content on the channel. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Stay up to date. Lock us in all season, all year, all off-season long on your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. Subscribe now. Turn on notifications. You'll be glad you did. KC Fans Rule writes in, could the Chiefs sign Amari Cooper? So Amari Cooper's been talked about for quite some time. You go back to the trade deadline last year, there was a lot of people that were calling for the Chiefs to trade for Amari Cooper from the Cleveland Browns. Ultimately, he ended up in Buffalo, and he didn't do great in Buffalo. And I'll say this. Had you not drafted Jalen Royals, I think you could make a pretty strong case that Amari Cooper would have made sense for the Chiefs to sign. But now that you have Royals in the mix, you brought back Hollywood Brown, and then you still have Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice, I don't see a need for Amari Cooper. If you signed him, I don't think anybody would be upset about it. By all means, it'd be great to have. But it's not something you have to have, and I think you have the best receiving core that we've seen in quite some time. I would be shocked. I would be honestly surprised if the Chiefs signed Amari Cooper at this point. Weigh in at our pinned comment today. Your chance to be the GM here on the Chiefs Report. Should the Chiefs sign Amari Cooper? Type S for sign, P for pass. Weigh in the comment section. Tell me what you think. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose two or more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Turn your playoff hot takes into tickets into basketball's championship series. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes Two ticket sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1, a VIP trip to the ship. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. Download the app today. Use code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. I'm already looking ahead to the start of the football season on Prize Picks. I got our guy Patrick Mahomes to have more than 3,924.5 passing yards. Going with Sam Darnold to also have more than 3,474.5 passing yards. If I put $20 down, both those hit, that turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Play along with me, prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. Stanley writes in, what's your opinion on possibly seeing Moore and Simmons at both tackle positions? That's my prediction with Kingsley playing left guard. You're not paying $85-some-odd million to Jawan Taylor to go sit on the bench. And nobody's trading for Jawan Taylor either. Jawan Taylor, when he's not getting called for penalties, does a pretty decent job. But he gets called for a lot of penalties. I just don't envision a world where Jawan Taylor is not starting this year, barring injury. I'm not the biggest fan of Jawan Taylor. I think you're on to something in regards to the future. I think Simmons, there's a good chance that he replaces Jawan Taylor down the line at right tackle, but I would be very shocked. I would be bamboozled if Jawan Taylor is not starting there. But, Stanley, it's an interesting idea. But you're a little ahead on that, about a year ahead on that. Denver Donkeys writes in, could the Chiefs sign Justin Simmons? It's funny that this comes from the Donkey. user here with Justin Simmons, formerly of the Denver Broncos. Justin Simmons, he did an interview with Kay Adams on a FanDuel. I think it was about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And he was asked about playing for the Chiefs, and he said, hey, I want to beat those guys, but if they come calling, I'll be open to taking their phone call. And if Justin Simmons wants to play here, they can certainly find a spot for him. Play 3 safeties, put him and Cook and Hicks out there, and I think Justin Simmons would be very good. He's great at creating turnovers, 5 total turnovers in 2023. Last year, 2 interceptions. He had 9 turnovers in 2022. I'm all in on the idea of Justin Simmons for the right price. I'm not trying to break the bank. Chiefs don't have a ton of cash, but if Simmons wants to play here, if they can work something out, by all means, I think that'd be great. Should the Chiefs sign Justin Simmons? Sound off and let us know. Type Y for yes, in for no. Should they sign Simmons or not? Tell me what you think. ZYCYZ writes in, what's your opinion on us trading Kelce for a wide receiver? Here's why that isn't going to work. Let me explain. Travis Kelce's played his entire career with the Kansas City Chiefs. Pretty much everybody thinks that this is Travis Kelce's last year in Kansas City. If I go to Travis Kelce, if I pick up my phone, hey, Trav, hey, we're going to trade you. You know what Trav's going to say? First off, he's going to slam the phone on the ground, and he's going to say, I'm not playing for another team. I mean, it's just not possible. Travis will retire before he goes and plays for another team. And then if you trade him for a receiver, well, we just talked about, you already have a decent number of receivers. If you move on from Kelce, then you have a need at the tight end spot. So not only can you not trade Travis, and you shouldn't, I'd rather have Travis on my team, but 2, why for another receiver when the receiver position's fine, you would need another tight end. So there's a lot of holes in that thought process there. No. Thanks. G-Pick writes in, does Major Williams make the 53? No. Major Williams will not make the 53-man roster. Hate to break that to you, but I would be surprised if he does. But that doesn't mean he won't hang around the practice squad. Maybe we'll hear from him at some point, but he will likely not make the 53. Next one, Fire and Carving. Do you think Jalen Royals would be a problem for other teams? Yeah. Maybe not right away, but down the line, yes. With his speed, his athleticism, the fact that he can play in the slot and that he can also play out wide, yeah, I think Jalen Royals will be a problem for other teams, and I can't wait to see what he does with this Chiefs offense. 2 more questions. Chad writes in, who will be the starting offensive tackles week 1? I just told you that. Jawan Taylor, Jalen Moore, and Josh Simmons will start at guard. That will be how things shake out with a Creed at center and Trey Smith at guard. Last question. Why me? Writes in, hey, Tyler. Hi. Hope you're doing well. I am. Thanks. My question is, if we do get Christian McCaffrey, do you think he'll be a starter? Of course. Of course he would be a starter. He's a top 5 running back. Yeah. Yeah, he'd be a starter. Of course he would. I don't think they're getting McCaffrey, though. But, you don't trade for a player like Christian McCaffrey without him being a starter. But thanks for the question, why me? Appreciate y'all joining us. Subscribe to the Kansas City Chiefs Report for continuing Chiefs coverage. YouTube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time. All right, folks, that does it for us. More coverage on the channel throughout the next few days. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Have a great rest of your week, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.